here's the fuse, the one I took out of there, and you can see it's blown. You see it's blown right there? The fuses cost me, a 5-pack of fuses cost like $3. So now these fuses are going to be part of the toolkit. All right, Tim Stanley, Blackout Easy again. We're here at Salt House Campground on Philpott Lake here in Henry, Virginia. I showed you the entry coming in different campsites in the lake. All right, followed up on the last video where we had a problem with the battery not charging correctly and the power out. So I showed you that we did have a wrench for lowering and raising the ton jack. Now, I incorrectly said this is the lug wrench, but it's not. It's a tool just for lowering and raising the ton, right? And the power's out, so that's great. Now, we did a hack last week. I showed you how I use that on the little nut right here to get us off the campground with a little hack. Showed you that. But now, so what I did, I went online and I looked for a crank that we can use, and I did find one. Crazy enough, found on Home Depot, homedepot.com. I searched Camping World and all those places, but Home Depot had it. So this is great. So what this does, same thing as that wrench up there, but it fits the nut perfectly, the little crank. So I can put that on, and when there's no power, we have a solution. So we have a solution all the way around for both the tongue jack and the landing gear. So beautiful. Now we're still gonna keep the vice grip in our toolbox. All right. So also, why did the power go out? And we talked about that last week when I checked the voltage at the power converter. So let's talk about that. Let's go inside and talk about that one. Back inside in the cool AC, we talked about the converter box, how I checked it last week using a voltmeter, and I had the instruction manual how to troubleshoot it, and it told me what the output voltage should be on shore power going to the battery. So I checked that and it was fine. Now put the voltmeter on the positive negative, and it showed the voltage correct. So I told you it was something wrong with connection going to the battery. Sure enough. So I remember reading the manual last week or 2 weeks ago, and it mentioned that the 240 amp fuses in there, and they just for if you hook the battery up wrong. And about 1:30 in the morning of the night, I was thinking about, I don't know what else. Anyway, I woke straight up in the bed and thought about what that manual said, and then I remembered one time I had hooked the battery up wrong. And when I did it, I came in, the lights worked and everything, and I just assumed that nothing was wrong, everything was cool. But, so I Googled it, and those fuses blown could cause the battery from not getting charged. So the next morning, I told my wife, I said, I know what's wrong why the battery ain't charging. Sure enough, these two fuses right here, these two 40 amp fuses were blown. And these two fuses blown, and just for if the battery's hooked up wrong. So that alone did it. So once I fixed that, my charging issue was over. Now, here's the fuse, the one I took out of there, and you can see it's blown. You see it's blown right there? The fuses cost me, a 5-pack of fuses cost like $3. So now, these fuses are gonna be part of the toolkit. And what I did also, it has more 15 amp fuses, a 3 amp fuse. So I got all the fuses I need, replacements for that, and they're also going to be in a toolkit. You never know what happens. I do have a surge protector on the power supply coming in, but anything can happen. So I have backup fuses that's going to go in my toolkit. All right. Last week we were camping. Everything's great. Battery's charging up. But when we was running on shore power, AC running, we couldn't run the refrigerator on electric. We do that, it will pop the main fuse. So I'm confused, did it a couple of times, and then we just put the refrigerator on gas. And so during the week, I called the RV dealer I bought this from and talked to service. He said, oh man, definitely, during the summer, you cannot run refrigerator and the AC is just too hot. And I don't know, that didn't make sense to me because it's 30 amp circuit coming in. The AC is 20 amp, and it's not pulling 20 amps. It's like 80% of that. And same thing with refrigerator, it's only pulling like 5 or 6 amps. So, and it's on a 10 amp breaker. So I knew that wasn't it. But anyway, today at this new campsite, we running the microwave, the fridge on electric, and the AC with no problem. So evidently, we weren't getting 30 amps at the campsite. Now, there's no way to check how much amps. I don't know of any way to check the amps coming in, because the surgeon tech just said the power's good, the ground and all that. So there is amp clamp you can put on there, but you have to have the wire separate, the positive and negative. There's no way to do that at the campground, but I'm almost certain that was the problem last week. The campground, I wasn't getting a full 30 amps through there. So hey, we got full electric, everything's working, fridge, AC, batteries charging up. Now, we got hacks 2 weeks ago to get us off the campsite when the battery went dead. Now we have tools to both do the landing gear and the stabilizer jack, so everything's great. So now we'll put all in that toolbox, including our voltmeter. We got backup fuses, and everything's great. So hope this worked out. If you have any questions or comments, just let me know. I'm glad to hear from you, but we got everything solved, and see you at the next site.